Wasn't that a good start? Something new that we bring to the park. I want to start off by saying I welcome everyone here. This is long anticipated. I want to thank everyone for being here. It was a lot of sweat. Everybody's participating in this, and it's a great start. I want to thank everybody for coming. Let's give a round of applause to everybody. So I want to start by saying I was a little nervous, and they said, well, you have 2 minutes to speak, but anybody that knows me, it's no problem. 2 minutes is nothing. So I will. My name is Wiley. I'm the facility director here at Rancho Community. Let's give a round of applause. Michelle and Barack Obama Sports Complex. Very significant. This means a lot. It means a lot for the community. It's a lot of people to thank here. I want to give a special thank. I want to thank you, Eric Garcia, our mayor, our wonderful mayor. I want to thank you. Thanks a lot. We appreciate you, all the hard work. Let's give a round of applause. Steve Bowman. Absolutely. We appreciate you. We appreciate the support you did. We appreciate the city of Los Angeles appreciates that. We also want to thank our general manager, our new Jimmy Kim. Jimmy Kim, give a round of applause. Jimmy Kim. LA Foundation, down in Ramsey. Thank you. I want to give a great round of applause to a man who has a lot of energy, so let's give him a good round of applause. Give him as loud as we can go. Let's go, Herb Wesson. A lot of people don't understand, the meaning of having these new courts, but it means a lot. It means a lot for the people who aren't around every day, for those kids to have a place to play, you know, a black top, whether they black top or in the gym, hearing those you know, sneakers squeak on the new floor, it means a lot. This was not scripted. I just was walking. I had a kid. He wasn't part of the program, but I was just outside a few minutes ago. And he said, I'm so happy to see the new court. I can't wait to get in there. And that meant a lot to him. It means a lot, because we don't know what these kids go through. But we really appreciate these kind of things, and it means a lot for myself. You know, once upon a time I was, you know, ashamed of my story, but I had a story where I actually was a kid. I lost my mom and my father at a young age as a teenager. But thanks to this department, I was saved, and I appreciate it. I'm thankful for that. I'm missing people, but I'm thankful to everyone here. It was a lot of, like I said, sweat, a lot of, negotiating things going on, but we're here, and we're grateful for that, because it means more to these kids that are around and don't have a place to go. When we go home, some of these kids are here at night, and they're playing, and not just this course, it's course throughout the city in which you did that for us, and we appreciate it. Quick video, and we'll let you see the video.
Back in 2018, our LA Parks Foundation, they went to Steve Ballmer to see if they would be interested in doing any refurbishment of our courts.
We really learned that there were a lot of courts that really needed renovation. So after speaking with Steve about it, he and his wife Connie decided, let's do them all.
The LA Clippers and the city of Los Angeles have teamed up to renovate 350 plus courts around the LA area.
As a teenager, it was very important for the park to be there, because you can go to the streets or you can go to the park. I lost my parents at a young age, and I just cleaned for the park. It was a place that I got solace, a place that I got peace.
If I didn't start here, I don't think I would be playing basketball.
You can go on with your life, take your money, spend it somewhere else, and you never know that the kids matter. But they do matter. A basketball court is saving lives.
Gyms and outdoor courts in the city of Los Angeles will get an upgrade so they are as nice as anything, anywhere.
We're so excited as we celebrate the opening of our beautiful new Clippers community courts.
To have a young kid come into a brand new court, in the past they were coming into defunct basketball courts.
You got a new court, fresh court, it makes people want to come. When they take care of that facility, you want to be there and you feel that people care.
And in 2022, all of our courts have been refurbished by the Clippers.
I see a lot for the future and younger kids growing up on this court.
Although the courts are here, it's just a start of new things happening, and those new generation of people coming up.
Having an organization like the Clippers, having someone like Steve really care about equity, it's a game changer. As we look in the future, it's going to build that next legacy. This gives them that opportunity to really fall in love with the sport of basketball. You could only do that by having good courts.
This is something that our community will never forget.
Exactly what the video said. Once again, I want to thank you guys, because like I said before, it means a lot. It means competitiveness, it means compassion for the game, and it also means care. And care means that you guys care. You guys really care about what goes on to the future of the kids, and we appreciate it. With that being said, I want to bring up our wonderful mayor, Eric Garcetti.
Give it up for Philip, come on. So much serious, more than once a day. You might have just done that one time in his life. And thank you for bringing your story and your truth that represents the men and women of this department and the communities that we serve, which are just extraordinary. And I want to congratulate Jimmy Kim, our new general manager. Again, this is his first event. Not every week is going to be like this on the job, Jimmy, but we thought we'd kick it off with a big bang. And so thank you to you. Wasn't that drum line incredible too? I think they might get booked for the Clippers soon. I saw somebody running out there and get their card. So We are so excited, but welcome, welcome, welcome to the community, to your Barack and Michelle Obama Recreation Center. What an extraordinary, extraordinary day we have here. So let me just start by saying this is holy and hallowed ground, where we are today. A lot of people think of Los Angeles as a new city. We're not. We're older than Washington, D.C. We have a rich history. Grew up in South Los Angeles like my father did, his family. Many times people say there's no history here, when indeed this is the heart of the city, with some of the richest and deepest history of all. Did you know that across the street, the first Olympic village in the history of the Olympics was built right here? Did you know that right here, just footsteps from here, is where Serena and her sister, Venus, who I think is a late entry to Wimbledon, played tennis and became the world's best? We know that next door, what you have is basically every sport in this facility, from swimming to baseball. It's the only place where we own the football field for Dorsey High School. So when you think about the young people who will come here and plant their dreams, they may be the next Williams sisters. They may be the next Sparky Anderson or Don Buford or Chili Davis who played right here. They might be the next Keyshawn Johnson who played on that field right next door and went to the NFL. They might be the next Jamal Wilkes playing right here because he did in the old rec center. Maybe they'll be the next big thing in swimming, or maybe they'll do something else like Mike Love from the Beach Boys who grew up going to this park. Maybe they'll become an elected official, and let me tell you, come talk to me before you run. But Julian Dixon and Diane Watson and Sheila Kuehl grew up going to this rec center almost every afternoon. You see, Los Angeles is a place where we plant our dreams and we wait for them to grow. And when we watch them grow, we see what happens. And we've got all the ingredients, the brilliance that is here today, reflected both here and there. I'm so glad you can see them and they can see you. But think about that a millionfold. And you have a metropolitan area, third largest economy in the world, where we bring the creativity and a sense of belonging to everything we do. We've thanked Rec and Parks, and I want to thank all the departments who made this possible today. Gary Lee Moore, who is our city engineer, and John Reamer, who made sure this construction got done, and Abigail Ramirez, who's our new Community Investment for Families department, and all of our departments who step up every single day to serve our people. Let's give them a round of applause and thank them for putting the public in public service each and every day. Carolyn Ramsey, my goodness. Because we're not just celebrating this place, we're celebrating 350 places that have been reborn thanks to the generosity of the Clippers and Connie. I want to make sure we say Connie too, and Steve Ballmer. She's getting a lot of love, but Connie is right there equal with her. And they were both there to kick off the very first one. And I remember when we thought, what can we do? We're going to be hosting the Olympics for the third time. There's only one city actually right now that's ever done that, London. Paris will soon become the second, and 4 years later, we will become the third. And it's almost 2 years until Paris is going to hand us that flag, ladies and gentlemen. We will be the next Summer Games and Paralympic Games. We thought, what can we do as a springboard to invest now in our young people so that maybe one of them will medal in their own backyard or change their lives, just as Jimmy Kim's life was changed as a young lifeguard. He told me when I made him general manager last week, he said, I never dreamed that I'd go from lifeguard to running this department. But that's what LA is all about. And so we were looking all around. I called Peter Varg, dear friend and commissioner, and said, we got this idea that Gillian, who's an old friend as well, and we were just looking for the Clippers to maybe contribute and be a part of it. But Steve Ballmer, being who Steve Ballmer is, and if you've ever watched a Clippers game, you know he gets a little enthusiastic about things. He said, what if we did them all? I said, all? Every single gymnasium. What if we redid them for the people and the youth of Los Angeles? Well, you don't have to ask me twice, but he went above and beyond that. He said, what about your outdoor courts too? Can we do those? And as we were talking about, we found 3 we didn't even know we had. And every single one of them. And I hope you will rise up out of your seats, because this is unprecedented in the history of Los Angeles. A $10 million+ commitment executed by our Parks Foundation and this department. We now have a system that is reborn, ready for the Olympics and ready for the future because of the Ballmers and the Ballmer Group. Thank you. 2007 came right here to this rec center. Herb Weston and I were both there that day. He was an outside shot. Nobody expected him to actually win for president, but they were intrigued that maybe in the future he might amount to something. I'm wearing my hope pin. This was from the primary. That idea that he planted that America could be better, could reflect all of us, radiated right here from this hallowed ground. And so when we looked at, and when then Council President Herb Weston said, I think we should rename Rodeo after the Obamas. We made history and made this street recognize the first black president in this country's history. But we knew we could go further. And that sports complex that began as Rancho Cienega Park, those are nice things, nice Spanish, ranch. Anybody know what Cienega means? Swamp. Actually, Brea is the swamp. Yeah, Cienega's kind of the bushlands. Everybody ever go to La Brea tar pits? It means the tar pits. But anyway, that's another thing. But here we thought we would give a name that would give deeper meaning. Here where we saw stars born. Here where dreams are made. And we listened. And I got to tell you, I want to single out Herb Weston, because we had one of the most beautiful relationships in the history, I think, of mayors and council presidents. We meet every week. And when those weeks came to budget time, I said, what do you want in this year's budget? You represent a great district and you're the head of the city council. And he said, the only thing that I want in this year's budget is to rebuild this better than any rec center anywhere and to get this pool done. It's now going to be the largest pool in the system. This is the first gym where we can play concurrent games at the same time, which might seem small, but if you've ever been one of those ballers waiting to get on the court, that's a huge deal. And you can even have seniors and others and joggers on the jogging track, the first in our system, running, or even between your games to keep yourself going so you don't pull anything at the same time that's going on. All right here, with the tennis courts, with the Dodger Dream Field, with the football field that still serves Dorsey. It is the complete package for everyone. So, this is yours. Enjoy it, community. En español, brevemente también. Gracias, la generosidad de la familia de Balmers por su regalo a la gente de Los Ángeles. 350 centros de recreación. Su inversión para redesarrollar estas facilidades es un acto de amor. Y gracias a Connie y Steve Ballmer por su visión para nuestra ciudad. Y gracias a la comunidad de los departamentos, porque este es un sueño en el corazón de la comunidad, a tener esta facilidad para nuestros jóvenes, para nuestras familias, para personas de tercera edad y toda la gente. So with that, let me introduce the man who has made this possible. And I want to thank also our fire and police departments who are represented here. Let's give them a round of applause. And with that, I feel like he's the person who gets everybody usually hyped up, so let me be his hype man. It has been a great joy of my time as mayor to see a man who came from up north, but loves LA with every fiber in his being, who has invested in a team and showered them with the sort of passion that defines what LA is all about. He's building them a new arena. He has invested in great players. I know we're going to be doing something special with our very newest Bienvenue a Los Angeles, through our newest Clipper. We are so excited to have. And he and Connie do a lot that we see publicly. I just want to say quietly what they do when nobody's looking, to make government better, to make public service and community connections, and to hold people accountable, not just to give resources, but to make sure that they change things. You can see that billions reflected here today. And I know, Steve, every time I'm going to be looking at one of these Clipper courts, I'm going to see the spirit of who you are, who Connie are, and what the city's all about. So ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Steve Ballmer.
This is my first time in this court. Really look at this court. Just sit there and look at it for a second. Musa Diabate, who joins us today, first outing as the Clipper after we drafted him last Thursday. They turned to Musa and said, does this court look about as good as the court in our practice facility? He said, yeah, it really does. I gotta tell you, the staff that worked on this thing, the contractors, the people from the Department of Parks and Recs. Good job! Now, for an old man like me, it also looks a little slippery as a new court, so everybody's got to kind of watch it out there. I too want to thank the mayor. I want to thank Councilmember Wesson. I want to thank Jimmy Kim and Carolyn Ramsey for this opportunity. It was not hard. It was not hard, at least for me, when the mayor called and said I'd do a few courts, to share his vision of these places, parks and rec centers, as a safe place and as a great place for kids to go. And yes, adults also use them, but I gotta say the thing that captured me is kids. You know, we hear a lot of stories from our players of kids who basically, young men who are now adults, who grew up essentially in a rec center. When we did our first court, we had a couple of our guys, Lou Williams, Pat Beverly. That's where they spent their time as young guys. And it was particularly cool then to have a chance to really make this happen. Now we did 350 courts. That's a lot of courts. But there's a lot of people in Los Angeles. There is one of these courts within 2 miles of 98% of the people, of the 4 million people who live in Los Angeles. And to that I applaud the Department of Parks and Rec for a great job. There are tens of thousands of people who are already playing in leagues in these parks and rec courts. And that doesn't count, you know, kids who just come in, play pickup. We've had a privilege from the Clippers. We sponsor a thing called Junior Clippers for young kids. And we get to now host those young kids in facilities like this, which is fantastic. One of my favorite things that I learned about after I got involved with the team is we also apparently sponsor, it used to be called Friday Night Lights, now I think it's Hoop Nights, and it's just great to see then younger people, men and women coming together, playing at night, playing in a place where people can come together in a really positive way, and that's great. When we first talked to the city about this, 10-year project. 10-year project. Let's go do the courts. 10 years. Took 4 years. I already applauded, but apply again. 4 years. You know, we are building a new arena here in town, like I'll tell you. It'll be about 10 years from the time we started till the time we finish. So this is a real kick-ass job. I think everybody's done just great. I have one other thing I gotta do before I break. Drumline. Now let me see if I get the name right. The Pomerettes, did I say that correctly? If you're right, we have to negotiate right now. This is a negotiation. Just understand that flat and clear. As you guys were playing, one of our folks came over to talk to us. Another folk came over to talk to us. You guys, we need you to play a game this year. We need you to play a game this year. Now, the details of the negotiation, I'll leave to the people who actually know what they're doing. But if you would grace us with your presence at one Clipper game this year, we would be in your debt. We say, great. No, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's exciting for me, and I look forward to hearing about all the kids who get to come in here and really enjoy and participate. Thanks everybody very much. I always forget what the heck I'm supposed to do. Councilmember Wesson, you're on!
Let's give Steve a real round of applause. And he was talking about the drum line. Let's give them another round of applause. And I don't know if you guys were paying attention when this young brother was dancing and moving around. And all of a sudden, He did the splits. I almost called Kaiser. My body almost split in half. Let's give them a round of applause. You are fantastic. And really quick, I have to recognize my wife is here and thank her for allowing me to do what I've been wanting to do my whole life. My youngest son, Justin, is here, Ray. My son, PJ, is here. My grandkids are here. My grand nuggets. And they're somewhere. There, stand up so people can see how good looking you got. Those are my grandkids. Well, 3 of the 5 grandkids. Look, I used to walk this track. And I felt that this was a phenomenal place and that we could make this the crown jewel of the city of LA. So we worked hard. We redid the football field and the track. We added the first skateboard park in this region right over there. We added a synthetic soccer field, but it wasn't enough. We wanted to do more. Now, there are some days where it is appropriate to use heavy-handed words. But today, I think it's important to give heavy-handed thank yous. So to my current staff and former staff who worked their behinds off to make this happen, give them a round of applause. You know, you see the mayor of this city at a lot of events, cutting ribbons and, you know, breaking ground. But I want to say this. He knew how important this was to me. To turn something into the state-of-the-art facility so people throughout this damn city would be jealous of us. And that's what this is. It is the baddest, it is the biggest, and it's ours. But the mayor bought into that, and every year during the budget, we would squirrel away a few million. And then the next year, I'd ask for $4 million. And we were able to build this facility that cost upwards to $50 million in the heart of our city. So when you see the mayor at this event, he's here as a partner. He is not here to just cut the ribbon. He has been a genuine partner in this endeavor. And you are right. One day history will memorialize that out of all of the city leaders, that no mayor and no council president ever got along as well as you and I. We were 2 bad motor scooters. And I wish that you folk were with us. Because you see Steve Ballmer, and he's bouncing around everywhere, and he's so excited. But I was with him at the very first court that he built right up the street at Jim Gilliam Park. And if you could have picked that around the park, that was the first one. This is the last one. If you could have looked into his eyes, you would see that he was every bit, if not more, excited than all of the children that were there to make the initial shots in those baskets. There are partners from the private sector, and there are genuine partners from the private sector. Let's give Steve and the Clippers another round of applause. Gary Moore and to Mike Shawn, who I don't see Mike. Gary, Bureau of Engineering, Mike Shawn, Wrecking Parks. These are 2 dudes that know how to get Yeah.